और हाँ ठीक है. So good morning everyone. Today we'll discuss the wool section of this course. Now first we'll start what basically is wool. So wool is a natural fiber and it is of animal origin. Now it has certain properties like it is hygroscopic in nature, has crimps, that is waves, is elastic and always grows in clusters. Okay, so it is a fiber which has a cylindrical structure and is basically protein in nature, which is made of keratin. Okay, move to the next slide. So wool, if we take it structurally, then it consists of two portions, that is the cortex and the cuticle. It does not have any medulla. So any animal fiber consists of three portions, that is the cuticle, the outer scaly layer, the cortex, the middle central layer where the corticular cells are present, and the medulla. So please mute. Okay. So what happens is that in wool, the true wool fiber, it is devoid of medulla. It only has the cortex and the cuticle. Is this slide clear to you all? Okay. So since there is no query, so we will move to the next slide. Now, apart from the wool, there are two different types of animal fibers which are commonly discussed when it comes to fibers of animal origin. One is the mohair and second is the fur. So mohair is a natural fiber which is obtained from the Angora goats. Okay, so Angora goat is a very important point out there. Mohair is only obtained from Angora goats. Okay, it is approximately 25 to 45 microns in diameter and is both resilient and durable. It is tough. It can undergo like processing, that is, it is resilient. So one of the most important features of mohair is that it is a highly shiny material fiber. It has a luster and a sheen. Now mohair like wool does not have a medulla, but it also lacks scales. Scales means cuticular scales, the outermost scale which covers a wool fiber, that is absent in mohair. So, since the scales, one of the important function of the scale is to help in felting, that is in weaving. So, mohair does not felt like wool. Is this clear? What mohair is? Okay. So then comes the fur. Now, fur is a synonym used for hair, which is non-human in origin. Like any animal which has hair, we can say it is its fur. Now, in many cases, what happens that this fur is considered to be complete with the skin, and this whole structure of the fur and the skin is known as pelage. Okay, so the structure of fur is similar to hair and contains cuticle, cortex, and medulla. Okay, is this clear? Any confusion in this slide? If not,
हाइग्रोस्कोपिक मैम पिछले स्लाइड में हाइग्रोस्कोपिक बोलो उसका मतलब क्या है?
हाइग्रोस्कोपिक का मतलब होता है जो मॉइस्चर अब्सॉर्ब करता हो, उसे हाइग्रोस्कोपिक कहते हैं. ठीक है. Okay. So any confusion? What is mohair? What is fur? If not, then we'll move to the next slide. Now we'll come to the physical structure of wool. Please move to the next slide. Okay. Now, as you can see in this picture, from outside to inside, the physical structure of wool has been given in details. So as I have told earlier, the outermost layer, the scaly layer, is known as cuticle. Then beneath the cuticle is the cortex, and within the cortex there are corticular cells and cell membrane complex.
My name is.
Okay, so now if we talk in details, wool is a protein fiber and it is mainly made up of keratin. Okay, now keratin contains sulfur containing amino acids, which is cysteine. Okay, is this much clear? So when we move into details, first we have the cuticle. Let's move to the next slide. So the cuticle is the outermost protective layer of a wool fiber, and it is scaly in nature. The cuticle is made up of scales, or the cuticular scales. Now these scales overlap each other as tiles. Okay, the exposed edges face outwards and the roots face downwards beneath the consecutive scale. Okay, so the scales are, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so the scales are oriented in a way that it moves from the root of the hair or the fiber to the tip. Okay, is this clear? Now the cuticle has an important feature, that is it is waxy, that it has a waxy coating in it, on it, which makes it resistant to water. Hence, it is also resistant to water-based stains. So is cuticle clear to everyone? Okay, so then we'll move to the, Neha, do one thing, go to the previous slide so that you can see the structure and you don't get confused. Okay.
My name is Conan.
Please mute your videos, audio, sorry. And please don't disturb the class. So when it comes to the cuticle, if we divide the cuticle, we observe that the cuticle has 3 layers. One is the epicuticle, it is the outermost layer. Then below it comes the exocuticle, and just the innermost layer is the endocuticle. Okay. Now the endocuticle surrounds the corticular region of the fiber. Now, if we see the corticular region, the cortex, it consists of 2 materials. One is the corticular cells and the other is the cell membrane complex. So, in a fiber, the cortex makes 90% of the fiber content. And in that 90%, the remaining 5% is made by cuticle, and the rest of the 5% is made by the cell membrane complex. So the cell membrane complex is a loosely cross-linked basement structure which holds the corticular cells. Okay. Now the corticular cells are of 2 types: the paracells and the paracorticular cells and the orthocorticular cells. And these corticular cells are arranged bilaterally, means one above the other, in a way that the orthocorticular cells is always on the outer side of the cribs. Cribs are the waviness. So wherever the wave of the fiber is outwards or on the outer side, on that area are the orthocorticular cells, and on the inner side are the paracorticular cells. Is this clear? Any confusion here?
मैम एक बार और रिपीट कर दीजिए.
ठीक है, मैं अब हिंदी में बोलती हूँ. ठीक है, क्यूटिकल
यस
सबको
मैम, हम
क्लियर
भी
हो
यही
गया?
बोलना चाह रहे थे.
हाँ, क्यूटिकल सबको क्लियर हो गया. क्यूटिकल का क्या काम है? क्यूटिकल के 3 लेयर्स होते हैं. अगर आप क्यूटिकल को बाइसेक्ट करें तो एपिक्यूटिकल जो सबसे ऊपर होता है, उसके नीचे होता है एक्सोक्यूटिकल, और सबसे अंदर होता है एंडोक्यूटिकल. क्लियर यहाँ तक का? ये जो एंडोक्यूटिकल है वो फिर क्या करता है? कॉर्टेक्स को सराउंड करता है. कॉर्टेक्स में होता है सेल मेम्ब्रेन कॉम्प्लेक्स एंड कॉर्टिकुलर सेल्स. ठीक है, एक फाइबर है उसमें 5% होता है क्यूटिकल, 90% होता है कॉर्टेक्स. ओके, एंड उस 90% कॉर्टेक्स में होता है 5% सेल मेम्ब्रेन कॉम्प्लेक्स. ये जो सेल मेम्ब्रेन कॉम्प्लेक्स होता है वो है, उसमें होते हैं लूजली, वो एक लूजली क्रॉसलिंक स्ट्रक्चर होता है, ठीक है, और ये पार्टिकुलर सेल्स को होल्ड करके रखता है। और ये सेल मेम्ब्रेन कॉम्प्लेक्स इट रन्स थ्रू आउट द फाइबर, पूरे फाइबर में कंटिन्यूसली रहता है और कॉर्टिकुलर सेल्स को होल्ड करके रखता है। जो कॉर्टिकुलर सेल्स है वो दो टाइप के होते हैं, पैराकॉर्टिकुलर सेल्स और ऑर्थोकॉर्टिकुलर सेल्स। और ये पैरा और ऑर्थोकॉर्टिकुलर सेल्स जो होते हैं वो क्या होते हैं, बायलेटरली प्रेजेंट होते हैं, एक के ऊपर एक प्रेजेंट होते हैं, ठीक है। इनका अरेंजमेंट ऐसा होता है कि जब भी हम एक वूल फाइबर को देखते हैं, नॉर्मली वूल फाइबर क्या होता है, वेवी होता है, क्रिप्स होता है उसमें। तो जो भी आउटर एक्सपोज्ड सरफेस है एक वूल फाइबर का, उसमें जो आउटर पार्ट है वो हमेशा ऑर्थोकॉर्टिकुलर सेल्स का होता है। क्लियर हुआ?
जी मैम।
ओके, किसी को कोई और कंफ्यूजन? ठीक है, सो नाउ वील कम टू द next structure, that is the cell membrane complex. Now the cell membrane complex is proteinous in nature and contains waxy lipids, and this cell membrane complex runs throughout the length of the whole fiber. Okay, is this clear? Now this cell membrane
प्लीज
complex,
मैम स्लाइड स्लाइड
नहीं स्लाइड नहीं, आप सुनिए, ये लिखा हुआ आपको मिल जाएगा, आप स्ट्रक्चर देखिए तभी आप उस चीज को समझ पाओगे, ठीक है।
ओके मैम।
हाँ, आप लिखा है वो, आप सिर्फ देखो फिगर को और समझो, रिटन मटेरियल आपके पास है, ठीक है। सो दिस सेल मेम्ब्रेन कॉम्प्लेक्स इज अ वीक स्ट्रक्चर and it breaks down very easily. So any kind of mild chemical attack or any kind of harsh handling can lead to the breakage of the cell membrane complex. इतना क्लियर हो गया? किसी को सेल मेम्ब्रेन कॉम्प्लेक्स में प्रॉब्लम है? Okay, so since there is no problem, then we'll move to the other inner structure, which is the macrofibrils. Now, in this cell membrane complex, the macrofibrils are present. So, what are these macrofibrils? These macrofibrils are long rod-like filaments present inside the corticular cells. Okay? They are made up of bundles of even finer filaments, which are the microfibrils. Okay? So, macrofibrils has matrix and microfibrils. Is this clear? Then comes the matrix region. The matrix region is a region having high sulfur proteins, and this region is of rule is the reason for its resistance to fire and anti-static properties. And within this matrix are embedded the microfibrils, which is the basic supporting structure of the wool fiber, and it gives strength and flexibility to the fibers. Is this clear till this point? Any confusion? Now you can see in this figure is the innermost portion are left-handed coil rope and right-handed alpha helix. So this is the basic structure, is the smallest, or the I should say the unit structure of a wool fiber. So these helical coils are the smallest part of the fiber, and it gives the wool its flexibility, elasticity, and resilience, which helps to keep the wool fiber its own natural shape. Is this clear? Now this helical coil is stiffened by hydrogen bonds and disulfide bonds, and these bonds link each coil of the helix, helping to prevent its overstretching. Clear हो गया? किसी को कोई confusion? कोई पोर्शन जो समझ ना आया हो? सबको क्लियर है?
जी मैम।
Okay, so move to the next slide. Okay, here I have given the whole material in writing. You will have no issues with understanding it any further. Now, as we were talking about the cuticle has scales, and these scales have typical orientation. So basically, there are three types of orientation of the cuticular scales. One is the coronal, second is the corona reticulate, and third is the reticulate. Okay, so as you can see in the first diagram is the coronal. Now, in the coronal form of pattern, each scale forms a complete ring. You can see in this particular figure that each scale is a complete ring. Okay, is this clear? Okay, and the top portion of one scale overlaps the bottom portion of the next. Clear? जैसे आप एक कटोरे के ऊपर दूसरा कटोरा रखते हो, वैसे करके ये क्यूटिकुलर स्केल्स प्रेजेंट होते हैं. क्लियर हो गया? Okay, then comes the coronal reticulate patterns. Now, in this particular pattern, the ring around the fiber is made from more than one scale. So one scale does not encircle the whole fiber. The whole fiber, the whole diameter, the whole circumference of the fiber is covered by one or more scale. Okay, and in this particular type of arrangement, the lateral and the axial bands overlap the top of one scale and the bottom portion of the next. As you can see in the diagram, that the one single scale is not covering the whole fiber circumference, and secondly, the lateral and the axial part of the fiber is overlapping. Okay, so the lowermost, lower end of one fiber is being covered by the upper end of the other. Clear? Okay, and then comes the last one, the reticulate form of scales. In this scale arrangement, there is an irregular network of the fiber, irregular network of the scales on the fiber. Okay, as the figure shows that there is no regularity in the scale structure. Is this clear? Any confusion here? Okay. So we can move to the next slide then. So here we have discussed the complete physical structure of the wool fiber. Now we'll discuss the chemical structure of the wool fiber. So basically, wool fiber are long chains of keratin which roughly lie parallel to the long axis of the fiber. And these keratin molecules are linked together in three different ways. One is the cysteine links, other are the ionic links, and last is the hydrogen bond. So the most important cross-link are sulfur-containing disulfide bonds, which are formed during the growing stage of the fiber. And this process is known as keratinization. Then another type of cross-link is the isopeptide bond, which is formed between the amino acid containing acid or basic groups. Okay, so the isopeptide bond is formed between the amino acid containing groups. Then another form of bonding is the ionic interactions or the salt linkages. In this, these kind of bonds are formed between the acidic, that is the carboxylic group, and the basic, that is the amino group present in the side chains. Okay, and this is the most important type of non-covalent bond present in the wool fiber. Okay, is this clear? And then there are hydrogen bonds which manage the hydrophobic interactions. Is this clear to everyone? Okay, so we'll move to the next slide. Now, in the coming two slides, please move to the next slide, Neha. Now, in the coming, this slide and the next slide, we will discuss the physical properties and the chemical properties of the fiber. Okay. So first we'll deal with the physical properties. If you have any confusion, stop me there and I will explain it to you. So the first physical property is that it is cylindrical in structure. Okay, and secondly, it does not have any medulla. Now, in a normal wool fiber, please mute your audios. Gyan Bharti, please mute your audio. So now a normal wool fiber has curliness, that is the wavy structure, the crimps or the curliness, which varies between 2 to 12 curls per centimeter. Wool is durable in nature, it is elastic and it stretches up to 30% of its normal length. It is hygroscopic, that is it absorbs water, and the amount of water it can absorb is around 18 to 50% of its own weight. Okay, now wool fiber is light in weight. It transmits UV rays and it is strong in nature. Its strength is more than a steel fiber of the same diameter. Is this clear? Then a wool fiber has projections, that is the scales, which help in its adherence to the surrounding wool fibers or surfaces. It has a specific gravity of 1.304 and a refractive index of 1.553 to 5. And when the wool fiber is exposed to cold water, its diameter seems to increase. Clear? I guess there is not much issues with the physical properties. If anyone has any confusion, please let me know. Okay. Then comes the chemical properties. Now, I have listed the chemical properties and I'll read them to you. If you have any confusion, just let me know. So when it comes to chemical properties, no harm occurs to wool when it is exposed to cold or boiling solution of mineral acids. So it is resistant to mineral acids. Second, color of wool becomes light yellow on treating with nitric acid. Yes?
मैम
हाँ
हेलो मैम कह रहे थे
Yes.
कि ये फिजिकल प्रॉपर्टीज में हाइग्रोस्कोपिक एब्जॉर्ब 18 से 50%, फिर वाटर प्रूफ ये है।
देखिए ये है जो स्केल है वो वाटर रेजिस्टेंट होता है, वो वाटर को रिपेल करता है, पर अगर आप एक फाइबर को पानी के अंदर डुबो देंगे तो वो अब्सॉर्ब करेगा। उसका सरफेस जो है वो वाटर रेजिस्टेंट है, ठीक है। एंड अगर आप वूल फाइबर को डिप करेंगे वाटर के अंदर तो जो स्केल के बीच का पोर्शन होता है वहां से वो अब्सॉर्ब होगा एंड उसकी अब्सॉर्प्शन है 18 to 50%।
मैम
सरफेस
हाँ बताइए
मैम स्केल के बीच से कैसे पानी ऑब्जर्व करेगा? आपका बोले थे कि उसके नीचे एक वैक्सी कोटिंग होता
देखिए
है।
स्केल के ऊपर वैक्सी कोटिंग होता है, लेकिन दो स्केल्स के बीच तो एक एरिया होता है ना, जैसे आपके सर के ऊपर बाल हैं, ठीक है, वो जो बाल हैं वो एक के बाद एक लाइन में लगे हुए हैं, लेकिन स्टिल उन दो लाइन के पीछे गैप तो है ना।
मैम वाटर प्रूफ का मतलब हो गया कि सरफेस पूरा सरफेस को लेके चलेंगे ना कि वो वाटर प्रूफ है।
आप एक बात आप ये सोचिए, आपके पास एक पिलो है, ठीक है, उसके ऊपर आपने प्लास्टिक शीट लगा दी, उस पिलो के ऊपर अगर आप पानी डालते हो तो क्या होगा कि प्लास्टिक शीट उस पानी को अंदर नहीं जाने देगा, लेकिन उसी पिलो को अगर आप अगर आप उसी पिलो जिसके ऊपर आपने प्लास्टिक शीट रोल करके रखी है उसे डुबो देंगे तो क्या होगा, वो पिलो का कॉटन पानी सोख कर लेगा, क्योंकि जो स्केल है वो तो एकदम उसको टाइटली बाइंड करके नहीं रखता है ना, उसके ऊपर अटैच्ड है, जैसे फेदर्स अटैच्ड रहते हैं स्किन के ऊपर वैसे अटैच्ड है, तो एरिया तो रह जाता है ना जहां से पानी सीप कर सके अंदर, तब वो अब्सॉर्ब कर लेता है। क्लियर? ओके ओके, सो वी कम टू द next chemical property, which is wool is sensitive to alkalis and complete destruction and dissolution of wool occurs when boiled with 5% solution of caustic soda.
नाश्ता का खाना खाते थे 11 बजे.
Okay. Now, the next chemical property is wool burns slowly and forms a porous brittle mass. So, if you burn wool, it will totally turn into carbon, which is porous and brittle in nature. Okay. Now, wool gives up its complete moisture when it is heated from 100 to 150 degrees centigrade. And when the wool fiber is heated to 130 degrees centigrade, the keratin of the wool starts decomposing and it releases ammonia. Wool is insoluble in water. Okay. Continuous boiling of wool causes breakage of the macromolecules, causing its decomposition. And lastly, wool softens when soaked in cold water. Are the chemical properties clear to you? Any confusion here?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So now today's last topic is wool quality. Okay. So Neha, please move to the next slide. The next one. Okay. So comes the wool quality. Now, when we determine the wool quality, we take certain aspects into considerations, which is fiber fineness, fiber length and staple length, moisture content, crib frequency, modulation percentage, scouring yield, burr content, color and luster. Here we will take each and every component separately. So comes fiber fineness. Now, a wool fiber is measured in microns, and the finer is the fiber, the better is its quality. Okay, is this clear? Okay, then comes fiber length. Now the fiber length is of two types. So the fiber length is when the wool fiber is stretched and we measure the fiber, and it's when we measure its length. And the other is staple length. When we keep the wool fiber in a relaxed state, it has its own natural crimpiness, and we measure the length of the fiber along with the cribs. Clear the difference between fiber length and the staple length?
Yes, ma'am.
फाइबर लेंथ होता है कि
मैम
आप wool को
फाइबर
stretch
लेंथ
कर
में
लो।
पूरा स्ट्रेच करके मेजर करेंगे ना।
हाँ,
हेलो
हाँ,
और इसमें बस नेचुरल जैसे रह रहा है वैसे ही मेजर कर लेंगे।
वैसे एग्जैक्टली हम वही करेंगे। ओके, नाउ द फाइबर लेंथ, द स्टेपल लेंथ इज मेजर्ड इन सेंटीमीटर्स। ओके, एंड this fiber length and staple length determines the weaving ability or the what you say, the spinnability of the wool. Okay, more is the fiber length, better is its spinnability, better will be the length of the finished product. Okay, then comes moisture content. So the moisture when it comes to
मैम एक बार
moisture,
रिपीट करिए तो मैम क्या बोली? मोर फाइबर लेंथ,
फाइबर लेंथ जितना ज्यादा होगा तो जो वूल की स्पिनेबिलिटी है, लाइक वूल को क्या करते हैं हम, चरखी में चला के उसको हम एक थ्रेड बनाते हैं ना लंबा सा, तो जितना उसका फाइबर लेंथ होगा उतना बेटर हमको जो फिनिश प्रोडक्ट है उसका लेंथ मिलेगा। ठीक है, नाउ कम्स द
और
मॉइस्चर
वो क्या
कंटेंट।
बोली थी मैम? माइक्रोन में मेजर करते हैं फाइबर का फाइननेस।
फाइननेस, हाँ, फाइबर का फाइननेस माइक्रोन में मेजर करते हैं एंड फाइबर का जो लेंथ है वो सेंटीमीटर्स में मेजर करते हैं।
ठीक है मैम।
Okay, so then comes to the moisture content. Now we know that the wool fiber is hygroscopic in nature. It has a tendency to absorb moisture. So we can take two components into consideration. One is moisture regain percentage and the other is moisture content percentage. So when it comes to moisture regain percentage, you can move to the next slide, Neha. So when it comes to the moisture regain percentage, so we measure it by mass of absorbed water in the specimen divided by mass of dry specimen into 100. So we take a dry specimen, we measure its weight, then we dip it in water till it absorbs water to its maximum extent, and then we measure the mass of the wet specimen. Okay, we divide the mass weight of the wet specimen divided by the weight of the dry specimen into 100. That comes the moisture regain percentage. Then comes the moisture content percentage. Here what we take a normal specimen, a specimen which has not been dried. Okay, its moisture percentage is not 0. So we take that normal specimen and then we dip it in water. We let it absorb water. Then to calculate the moisture content percentage, we divide the mass of absorbed water in the specimen, divide by the mass of undried specimen into 100. Clear what is moisture regain percentage and what is moisture content percentage?
ये अनड्राइड का मतलब क्या हुआ मैम?
देखिए आपके पास एक स्पेसिमेन है, वो नॉर्मल जो है, जो नॉर्मल एनवायरनमेंट में है वो अनड्राइड है, और अगर आप उसको ड्राई करना हुआ तो हम क्या करते हैं, उसे हॉट एयर ओवन में रखते हैं ताकि उसका मॉइस्चर परसेंटेज 0 हो जाए. Okay. So we continue again. So we have discussed till the moisture content. Then comes the crimp frequency. So as we have discussed, the waviness of a fiber is known as crimp. So the number of waves per unit length of the fiber is known as the crimp frequency. This crimp frequency varies from 2 to 12 crimps per centimeter of the fiber, and more is the crimpiness, better is known to be the fiber quality. Okay. Now this crimp frequency is influenced by the fiber length and the fiber fineness. Okay. Then comes modulation percentage. You can move to the next slide. Next, please. We have discussed length. Okay, the modulation percentage. Now, a true wool fiber lacks medulla, but the coarse fibers, they contain medulla, and modulation percentage denotes the volume occupied by the medulla in a fiber. It is expressed in percentage, and it varies from 5 to 89 to 99%. It depends upon the quality of the fiber. Now, the modulated fibers are comparatively lower in density. They are stiff and less elastic. This modulation percentage is evaluated either using a projection microscope, a lanometer, and dichlorobenzene. Okay. Now, it is very obvious to understand that lower is the modulation percentage, better is the fiber quality. Clear? Okay. Then comes scouring yield. Now, scouring is the process of cleaning wool. Okay. And it is done by using scouring detergents at the rate of 0.3 to 0.6% in solutions maintained at 45 degrees centigrade. Now, as I had told you earlier, that this scouring process is practiced in bowls. Like we have bowls of scouring solutions of varying concentration. Okay, and the wool fiber is dipped from one bowl to the other in order to continue this process. But for now, in case of scouring, a minimum 2 bowls of scouring liquid is needed, and this process should be repeated at least for 2 times. Okay, so now the amount of clean wool fiber we obtain versus the amount of unclean fiber is known as the scouring yield. Okay? Weight of the clean wool fiber divided by the weight of the unclean wool fiber into 100. That is the scouring yield. Clear? Then comes the burr content. Now, burr content is the amount of vegetable content present in a fleece. Vegetable content means twigs, leaves, dung. This is the vegetable content. And this vegetable content cannot be removed by scouring, but by a process known as carbonization, which we will discuss later on. Okay. So, in carbonization, what we do for estimating burr content, what we do is that we dip the wool in sodium hydroxide solution. There are three extents of burr content in a wool fiber. One is the low burr content, which is 3%, the medium burr content 5%, and the heavy burr content more than 5%. Then the next component which is there to measure the quality of wool fiber is the color. So white is considered as the best color. Then comes light yellow, and then comes dark yellow. So dark yellow wool is considered as the wool of lowest quality, and white is considered to be the wool of best quality. And then comes luster. Luster means the amount of light it reflects. So higher is the luster, better is the wool quality. Next slide, please. Okay, so this presentation ends here. You can stop recording.